Hi, welcome to In the Know podcast. I'm your host, Debbie-Lyn.
And I'm your host, Caneshia Voisey. And today on the show, we have Jameson Stocks, who is a world-renowned celebrity chef. Hello, welcome to the show.
How are you both?
Hi.
We're good, thank you. So can I ask, what got you first started and involved and brought your passion to cooking?
Oh, I started quite early, actually. I knew pretty early on, probably 8 or 9 years old, that I wanted to be a chef. I didn't go into the industry wanting to be famous and stuff, though. I tend to go into the industry because I enjoyed cooking and producing great food. But yeah, I knew pretty early on. So that's basically, as soon as I got to the age where I could go work in kitchens, that's what I did.
Was there a particular thing that kind of sparked your curiosity when it came to cooking?
Probably my grandma at the time. I lived with my grandparents when I was younger until I left home quite young. And yeah, probably her. But I mean, I was fortunate enough to eat in good restaurants when I was younger anyway. So I understood the difference in good food and average food quite early on.
Did you always know that food was going to be your career, or did you enjoy cooking but you weren't sure if it was going to be like a career? And then how did it sort of end up being what you did?
A career.
Yeah.
I tend to made it a career. I wanted to do it, so I was determined to do it. I wanted to work with the best chefs. I wanted to be in the right atmosphere. I mean, I didn't know I was actually in one of the best kitchens in the country until about 6 months into working there. I just worked there. I just presumed it was like everywhere else. And then, you know, someone said to me, oh, this guy's coming in, and then etc. And I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize we were one of the best in the country at the time. To me, it was just normal. So yeah, I made it a career. I wanted it to be a career. And also because I worked with celebrity chefs, I understood how they made the money away from cooking. So they have the, you know, the level of cooking, but the TV, the magazines,
Brand contracts and things.
That kind of, when I first started cooking, that wasn't really the done thing. And then Jamie Oliver exploded, and then it became cool to be a chef. And then celebrity chefs would go into nightclubs and they were being treated like footballers, and it just became a whole kind of different world. It wasn't, I never went into cooking for that. I went into cooking because I enjoyed it.
Yeah, your
and
passion.
it just so happened that I became very good at it, and then everything else followed.
Is it really competitive?
All my friends, like the top level chefs, are all based in Europe and America. I don't really have friends in the UK. I don't really tend to go to any sort of events, like chef events here. I tend to go to different kind of red carpet events where chefs don't really tend to get invited, really.
Yeah.
It's very competitive. It's it's brutal. I mean,
It looks brutal when I watch it on the TV.
Put it this way, I've been in a legal dispute with the Sunday Times since 2008.
Oh wow, okay.
It's still going on to this day.
Well, hopefully that ends soon.
Even this week it's happened. So the chefs in the UK are very different to chefs in Europe. The chefs in the UK, they're like great to your face, not so great behind your back.
Yeah.
They don't want you to succeed, that you're better, you're this, you're that. They just want to keep everyone suppressed, basically.
I think it's like that in a lot of industries.
Really
especially the creative industry, no matter what
I think it's in the UK. I think it's a UK thing, because when I go to France, I'm with some of the best chefs in the world. They elevate you.
Yeah.
And I do the exact same to the younger guys. I have chefs now who have trained under me, who have their own Michelin stars, who have their own restaurants, have their own families, have their own businesses. They still come to me for advice, which I really like. But in the UK, could you go and speak to somebody who you worked for 10 years ago, 15 years ago?
No.
It's not like that. They're just so it's not as competitive. People are very bitter and jealous.
Yeah. There is a lot of people like that, I find, in, well, the industry altogether, not just the UK. But do you feel like it would be easier for you to have people from the other countries who kind of treat you and respect you a bit better? Would it be so much easier to come here?
I feel a lot more respected in Europe.
Yeah.
I do some of the biggest shows in the world in Europe. I do some of the biggest cookery shows in the world. I have friends who have 3 Michelin stars who I could pick up the phone to now, ask for advice. I've got friends who have got 2 stars who are some of the best in the world. You couldn't do that here.
Yeah.
The whole industry's completely changed to when I was first started. When I first started, it was quite brutal. You know, it's very sweary, quite physical in parts of the kitchen. You got burnt. You had your fingers. People were very much. It was different. Now everyone's using tweezers, and everyone's
It's changed a lot.
Everyone's
then.
very politically correct, and it's like you can't say boo to a goose. And we were working 15, 16, 17 hours, sleeping in the changing room, having a shower, and coming back the same day.
Yeah.
Now everyone's doing 8-hour shifts and having weekends off. And I'm thinking, that's not the catering industry I know.
How do you find the change from when you first started to now then?
I think it's really soft and
Yeah.
really.
Not how it should be.
I'm not saying it's not how it should be. I think kitchens can run in silence. I think kitchens can run respectfully and professionalism. I had kitchens where people were getting wrapped around the head.
Yeah.
That was a different story altogether. You've seen it recently with the news of the guy in Los Angeles running Noma.
Yeah.
His kind of philosophy of cooking is very similar to mine because that's how we were taught.
Mm-hmm.
Now everyone's using tweezers, and it's like picking up lettuce and salads with with little tweezers and touching stuff on the plate. And it wasn't like that when I was with Marco Pierre White and these guys. These guys was like, for something, just get on with it and do it.
Yeah.
You actually trained under Marco, didn't you?
Yeah. I came to London really young. I was 13 when I first came to London because I left home really young. And I went to so many restaurants looking for jobs, and they were all like, no, no, no. I went, at the time, there was real super chefs here. There was a guy called Nico Ladinis on Park Lane, 3 Michelin star. Gordon was cooking down in Chelsea. He wasn't on. He was on TV a little tiny bit, but he was still in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Majority of the services. I had a guy called John Burton Race up in Marylebone at the Landmark. I mean, these guys were like superstars. Then I had Marco Pierre White, who was down in Piccadilly, and I went to so many places and got like, no, sorry, leave your CV. I didn't even have a CV. I was just a kid. Got a job with Marco. Worked so hard for him. I'm loyal to him even to this day. And I'm
He
mentioned.
must have seen that in you, mustn't he? He must have seen that passion and thought, I'm
Yeah.
going to give this guy
I
a chance.
I think Marco had probably one of the best restaurant groups in the country at the time. He had, the Criterion, the Oak Room, Quo Vadis on Dean Street, Escargot. He had a place up in Holland Park called the Belvedere. I mean, the guy was the master in regards to when it comes to restaurants. He knew, and obviously retired, and I ended up leaving working for him in 2002 when he closed down the Oak Room. But for me, it was discipline. It was, if you're on time, you're late attitude.
Mm-hmm.
You work hard. I never drank. I've never drank alcohol in my whole life. I mean, on a social level, I've tasted wine and tasted stuff, but I don't drink in general, purely because of that time of when I was working with Marco. And then obviously when Marco retired, I left and I went to France, and it's a different ball game altogether then. It's starting at the bottom again and learning the language and basically having to prove yourself.
Do you feel having to restart again after going to France, that kind of progressed you to work harder and to be where you are now?
I think living on the streets makes you work harder.
Yeah.
Because things can be taken like that. You can have a big house and lots of money and assets and stuff and family. The next day they could be all gone.
Speaking of you when you were on the streets, what kind of kept you going when you were in a low place like that? What kept you motivated and wanting to push yourself further?
I think the fact that I worked with Marco, but you got to remember the chefs who I were working with who were nobodies then have become superstars themselves. My good friend Peter, he's probably the best chef in South Africa by a long, long way. I've got a friend in America who's become a celebrity chef in America, a guy called Curtis Stone, become very famous over there. And everyone kind of dispersed themselves around the world where they've all made a mark on the industry. So it wasn't just the fact of working for Marco Pierre White, it was actually the guys who I was in the trenches with. I mean, you got to remember, I was 15 and the second youngest person was 23, 24. I was the youngest by a long way. I was the baby of the kitchen. And then by the time I left, obviously I wasn't.
Yeah.
But for me, it's about
So you're
pushing
surrounded
yourself.
by all these people who are go-getters, who are
Yeah.
inspirational to you.
Yeah, not. I think if you surround yourself with successful people, you become successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you surround yourself with idiots, you could become an idiot.
Yeah.
I've always had that philosophy. I say the same thing to my children at school. Stick with the people who are going to change the world. Don't stick with the people who are going to end up going to jail. So,
Who's
Yeah.
going to motivate you?
so for me, it's always about, even to this day, some of my best friends are some of the richest people in London. Some of my best friends work normal 9-to-5 jobs. And I have different respects on different levels because they go to work every day to provide for the family. But then again, then when you're in that surrounding bubble of people and who you surround and who you kind of socialize with, not that people talk about business and money and stuff, because people actually don't. But you automatically want to get better and better and better. Then, there's a saying in life that you have cycles of friends every 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
And I do believe in that.
I think it's true, and I think it's the way it should be, because we're always we should be always progressing and growing as a person and changing. So it makes sense that we surround ourselves with different people at different stages of life.
And I have different friends now. When me and the boys lived in France, when we came back just after COVID, and the boys never lived in England before, so for them it was quite a surprise.
Oh, wow.
They're born in Scotland, so for me, my group of friendship for when I first came back, it's slightly different to what it is now. But yeah, I still have friends in my friendship who I knew 20 years ago when I wasn't even known, or they weren't even known. So, you meet people, and everyone's judgmental, and
There's always going to be someone that judges.
and you have to. I bring in people who I think are genuinely nice people,
Yeah.
not after anything, not wanting anything from me, and my friends who I get on quite well with, I've never asked them for anything. In fact, the only person I've ever asked anything of was when my eldest son went for work experience at his company, and but he had no favours. He wasn't treated any differently. He just treated us like
Just the experience in
for
itself.
work experience. So So again,
But that's important, isn't it, for you? I'm sure for your kids, you want them to understand and grasp the resilience and hard work that it takes to be successful
my
in
children,
their own
my
right.
children haven't had it easy. We've slept in hostels before when they were babies, and they haven't had like everything handed on a platter.
I think that's the best way, though.
They understand that a pound's a pound, even though cost of living and stuff's going up. But we grow all our own vegetables at home, and we don't.
Amazing.
We don't buy any vegetables or fruit or anything from supermarkets. We always buy everything as organic as possible. Same with the butcher and the fish. They understand that nothing's handed on a plate. They understand the homeless side of things, because obviously they've seen me doing talks about it. They understand that there's going to be a lot of jealousy. There's going to be a lot of people like trolls. For instance, on my Instagram, I don't even keep my comments open. I just close it because I don't need it. Even though there's a lot of more positive,
Yeah.
the odd few, it just kind of brings you down. So it's like, I just close it. And since I've closed it, and I have my assistant, and then someone wants to get in touch with my assistant, I have to go through someone else, and then eventually they can get through to me. So I've kind of buried myself from.
Do you think it
being
helps you
criticised.
not letting the people kind of bring you down? I'm assuming you've had a lot of that throughout your life. And obviously you've stuck with the people who's kind of been there for you when you first started out to now. Do you feel like not being able to see those comments helps in a way, especially like when your kids, obviously, to stop them seeing things like that as well?
Put it this way, I've had 3 people convicted who one went to jail and one actually got suspended sentences.
Oh gosh.
Due
Through
to
trolling?
It's called malicious communications.
Got ya. Yeah.
One person, they pleaded not guilty in a court of law and found guilty. The other 2 people actually pled guilty. So I'm all for kind of freedom of speech, but when people are saying stuff,
There's only so much you can tolerate and accept.
We live in such a fickle little industry. People say this and people say that, and it's like, oh my goodness. A few years ago, it would really bother me, but now it's kind of like, well, if people believe it, they believe it. And
Yeah.
from my point of view, when I got full custody of the 2 boys, from a man's point of view, the courts look at every reason to give the children to the mum.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Every reason. They look at your finances, look at your history, they speak to schools, they speak to psychologists, they speak to everybody over a period of 18 months. And the fact that when I got custody of the children full time, I have no contact with the mum at all since they were babies. I have no contact with any of my family because my family are died. And so it's just been me and the boys since the age of 2 and 3 years old. That was my kind of like, well, if I was a bad person, I definitely wouldn't have got the children.
Yeah.
So for me, that was kind of like, not redemption as such, but I had so much stuff thrown at me in court that it just became nonsense and a noise. And I kind of learned through that process of being under scrutiny for such a long time, 18 months.
It's a long time.
I mean, at one point I was spending 16 grand a month in lawyers' fees.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Because the boys were under 10. I had to get a lawyer for them, what we call a curator. Then I was paying my lawyer, and then I was paying a QC as well.
Wow.
And it was like...
But look how resilient you are and how much you've been through, and to be able to even juggle being a single dad with having such a successful career, like, it's incredible what you've achieved.
And not many people manage to achieve that, so you should be incredibly proud.
I always kind of look at it like a female taking maternity leave.
Yeah.
When I got full custody of the boys, first of all, I wasn't in a financial position because of the legal fees and everything to hire a nanny every day. And then I thought to myself, if I'm going to be in a kitchen 15, 16 hours a day and I have to employ someone to look after my children, I'm not actually gaining anything here. You know, so I decided that I was going to go down a different route of consultancy, and luckily I consulted quite a few successful restaurants abroad, and I did that, and I took the children with me, and the children come with me everywhere now.
That's amazing for them to be able to see that, isn't it? You know, that's inspirational for them.
I mean,
I think it'll turn them into like really good adults, though.
I mean, we were talking the other day, they've been to about 26 countries already.
Really?
Wow,
You know,
amazing.
you got South Africa,
There's nothing
America,
better than travelling.
Milan, Paris, or wherever, and the taste of culture, the people, and you know, it's I love that part of it. I love the fact that I can share that with them, and I can take them with them and go to the markets. We go to Istanbul in a couple of weeks' time.
Oh wow!
You know, we were there in January as well, filming, and they love it. They enjoy going back because they remember going to the...
I just think that's what life's all about, experiences.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll remember the country so much more the time with you. I think that's what they'll remember.
I think it's more the countries.
It might be.
But
when they're adults. Right now it might be the countries, but when they're adults...
that time back again, can you?
Yeah.
I do say that to them. That's why it's important to me. It's not about earning loads of money and stuff. It's actually about doing the nicest things because... I mean, we've been to Barbados. We didn't particularly like it. We went to the Lake District, Campton, and I loved that.
Yeah.
It's not about...
I do like the Lake District.
It's not about, you know, money. They know that, you know, they know that themselves. They're very cautious about being quite level because you can lose it quite quickly.
Well, the way I see it, you can always earn the money back, but the family and the time and, like, the memories, you can't.
Well, it's just been us three for the last 14 years. So it's... yeah, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So tell us more about your own restaurants now. So you actually have your own restaurants.
I am part of consortiums. I have I kind of overlook them as such. I wouldn't like to say I work there every day because I don't. We have Zoom meetings 2-3 times a week. I go over to Europe 2-3 times a month, sometimes more if need to be. Overlook them, and the reason why I don't really put my name to them and stuff is because we have head chefs in there. I want them guys to thrive. I don't want them to be under the microscope of me, my name above the door. I want them to win their own Michelin stars and, you know, create their own legacies and stuff. And that's where I actually love doing the most now, is that, you know, I've had chefs who have trained under me for the last 20 years, 15 years, who have gone on to get their own Michelin stars now.
You feel like proud father.
So now, yeah, I do. And they message me and they ask me advice. But then again, going back to what I said before, I could phone up a 3 Michelin star chef right now and I could ask him and he'd speak to me and give me the perfect advice because these guys have done it. And now I'm in a position where I can help these guys, not just financially, but also help them with jobs, help them with, you know, some people working in kitchens isn't really that healthy, really.
Especially in this heat as well.
You have no, you marriages break up from it, relationships break up from it. Families, like the children, don't see the dads or the mums, because a lot of women work in the kitchens now, a lot more than they used to be. And you're working 5-6 days a week. You see more of the people in the kitchen than you do your own family.
Yeah.
So that probably suited me a lot more when I was younger, because it was literally me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go out drinking. I wasn't a party guy. I literally went to work, slept, came to work, slept. And that was my life. We had one day off a week when I worked in London originally in 1999 to 2003, and then 2002, sorry. And then, but now people are trying to get a bit of a more of a work balance, and the top kitchens will never have that work balance, because if you're a chef of a really top-end restaurant, even when you're not there, you're mentally thinking, what's going on?
Yeah, very
Christmas
demanding.
happening.
Yeah.
And one worry about me, people said to me, why did I put my name to the restaurant in France? Why did I put my name to the restaurant in Germany or Italy, and the places which I look after? If I got my name above the door and I'm in America and I'm somewhere South Africa filming, and something happens, someone, within the restaurant, it comes back on me, even if I'm not there.
Yeah.
I didn't want that pressure myself.
No, it's a lot of pressure to
But
have.
I also didn't want to have that pressure that losing a star, even though I'm not there, it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
So for me, the whole consultancy thing works. It works well around my products. It works around with my life. I do contribute towards magazines. I do a lot of stuff. So
you're very proactive with everything else, despite obviously
super
not having your name on
proactive.
it.
Yeah, super proactive. Not to say I never will, but at the moment, it's easier to build an empire in the dark than it is in the light. So
Work in the shadows.
Yeah, so I've learned that myself, because I've opened places, put my name above it, bang, people are there. Even if it's great, they're going to criticize it.
Yeah.
Even if it's like the best thing they've ever had, people are like generally quite negative anyway.
Yeah.
They're not like, oh, that was amazing, and lift you up on the shoulders, because I don't think it's a very British thing to do that.
I think especially online as well, going back to when we were talking about online, is people forget that we're humans on the other end of it.
Yeah.
So they can be quite horrible.
Well, I'll tell you something, that you start branding lawyers' letters around, people soon be quiet.
Yeah.
I've learned people over the last 10 years have chipped in and said this and done this and done this and done that, and then as soon as they get a lawyer's letter sent to them, they're very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also, even like the newspapers, there's 15 newspapers which were found guilty of harassing me. They actually took everything down offline. But unfortunately, they were still online for 2 years, 3 years, as people believed the rubbish what they said.
Yeah.
Now, because of the Leveson inquiry and because of the laws have changed, newspapers are very cautious to what they write, whether it's true or not, because they just get
Do the
sued.
fact checking.
Yeah.
You're often described as one of the most recognised chefs in the world. How does that feel?
Yeah, I obviously will be because of where I trained. I think if you train within whatever industry, if you train with a top hairdresser and you go out on your own, you're going to have the spotlight on you. If you train with, whatever industry you're in, and you're going to develop and succeed, the spotlight's going to be on you automatically. Luckily, I'm in a position now where I can protect myself a lot more than I could when I was younger. Not just because of finances, but I said, going back, the laws change. People can't just say what they want to say. People say something online, they can get jailed even now, or they can get sued. And now that the chefs and people in Europe are kind of saying these things, is obviously a nice accolade, but there is a lot better chefs than me. People who work hard every day, work long hours, and had their Michelin stars and maintained them for years and years. But the thing for me, which I enjoy doing, is one, the traveling, but also I develop my products. I have my own pan range. I have my own knife range coming out. Chopping board range drops in Debenhams in 2 weeks' time. I've got a stoneware range, which is called Casa Jameson range. I've got a hot sauce range. I've got loads of different development of products. Then on top of that, I do my writing, and then I do my consultancy, then I do podcasts, and then I do TV, and then I do something else. So I'm constantly moving and changing, and I enjoy simple foods as much as I enjoy Michelin starred foods.
Where do you find time to sleep? So is there a question for the chefs that's starting out? So is there any kind of things that you would want to kind of offer as advice for anyone who wants to start out to become a chef? And is there any mistakes that you have seen them do that kind of they shouldn't be doing?
Well, going back to early on in the podcast, London has lost a lot of its kind of superstar chefs now. I mean, obviously there's Gordon, but Gordon doesn't cook anymore. He has his proteges looking after his empires and just kind of overlooks everything, a bit like what I do in Europe. So there's not really any kind of like what they call grandmaster chefs here. If I was going to like give anyone advice, like a girl or boy, I would go to France. Just go to France. One, the cost of living's a lot cheaper than here. And second of all, you're going to, for every year in them kind of kitchens, it's probably 5 or 6 years anywhere else. So you're going to develop super quick. You're going to be so far advanced of everyone else because you're going to learn the techniques. You're using probably the best produce, best chefs. Have one of the great chefs on your CV, and then everything else will just kind of open up.
Is there a particular part in France you would recommend?
Well, I lived in the middle of France, in the Dordogne. I loved it there.
Oh, I've just been there recently.
Yeah, I lived in the
Gorgeous.
Dordogne, so we lived like 20 minutes from the Périgold. I've got friends all over France. So I'm not going to say a particular area.
Yeah.
If you love the city, obviously Paris, Lyon. Personally, I like the south.
South of France, yeah.
Because you use a lot of fresh fish, great weather, and some of the best chefs in the world are there.
Yeah.
Grandma, what I call like a grand chef, like a proper chef, guys who have been in the kitchen for 40 odd years, like,
they know their stuff.
The guys who have taught Gordon Ramsay, the guys who have taught people before him, these guys are still in there every day. They're not on TV, they're not interested in media.
Yeah.
They're interested in making sure the service is perfect. And then they go home and then they come back the next day. That's the discipline, which unfortunately kind of lost here a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've talked about where to go in that. But is there anything that you've seen chefs that are starting out, the mistakes they've made, which will kind of tear people away from them?
People go into it for the wrong reasons. People go into cookery now thinking, I'm going to be the next Jamie Oliver. I'm going to be the next person on TV. I'm going to make loads of money. I'm going to do book signings. I'm going to bring out my own range of pans and knives and make loads of money. And you're going to get lots of women or, basically the wrong reasons. It's changed now. It's celebritized. It's kind of like, I do cookery expeditions and stuff, and I get 2,000-3,000 people coming to them. I can be signing autographs for 2 hours. And I can, we sell so many products across Europe that I don't really need to cook and work anymore. But people think that it's very easy to get to that point, whereas it's really not. And I've been in the industry since I was 15.
Yeah.
3 Michelin star level.
Yeah.
And I've been burnt, cut, swore at, beat up, abused, learned. I've learned the hard route. It's not a matter of just say, oh, you've come on the scene and all of a sudden you're getting all these endorsements.
No, you put all
and
that
stuff.
hard work into it.
You have to. You can't cut corners.
No.
People do try and cut corners. They work somewhere maybe for 2-3 years and then want to open their own restaurant. I've had, I've been in that route where I've opened my own restaurant very young, and it was a disaster. I lost £250,000 in a month.
Oh wow, okay, it's quite a lot then.
That was in 2008 when the banks crashed.
What made you want to reopen again once that happened?
I left my old job. I won loads of awards. I left my old job under a bit of a cloud. Going back to the newspapers, writing nonsense and stuff back in that time, and I thought to myself, I'm going to open a restaurant. I'm going to show everyone. I'm just going to do it. And the bank said to me, whatever you put in, we'll match. So I thought, okay. So I put a lot of money in myself, about 200 grand of my own money. This is at 24 years old. And then I borrowed some money from different people, and then the bank said to me, well, we'll give you the exact same amount. So I thought, brilliant. All the staff came from my last restaurant, which was obviously a great compliment and everything. Kitted the restaurant out, etc. And then the banks crashed in 2008, literally 6 weeks later, and the banks pulled the overdraft facility.
Oh gosh.
And I had probably 9-10 grand left. luckily, the wine guy who I'm still friends with to this day, he bought the wine back to what I bought it from, so that helped me a little bit. But yeah, it was brutal. Like 6-7 weeks, everything was gone.
That must have been a really hard time to kind of keep the motivation going.
And I thought to myself, what have I done? First of all, I lost a lot of money. I had my house tied into it as well. And yeah, it was brutal. But looking back at it now, I know chefs who have had 3 Michelin stars in different parts of the world. It never worked for whatever reason. Then they've opened up in a different part of the world. And now some of these guys are some of the best chefs in the world. You know, even Gordon Ramsay didn't make it work up in Glasgow. That's his hometown.
So it's just the location, really.
It wasn't really the location. A lot of it came down to the banking crisis. But again, I got a little bit of stick for that. It's something I can shoulder now. It's not something I'm too worried about. But you learn from these processes and you take all the mistakes, and you know, hopefully I can help other people avoid them mistakes. Maybe what I should have done is sit back a little bit, waited for this little turbulent period of the banking. No one knew what was happening with the Icelandic ash, and then the banks crashed, and then banks weren't lending, and no one knew what was happening. It was a bit topsy-turvy. What I should have done is just sat back and just relaxed and then just waited to see what happened. A bit like with people before COVID. I know so many people who opened restaurants just before COVID and had to close within 2 weeks. No fault of their own.
No.
Just what happened.
No one can foresee these things happening, can they? It's just one
Restaurants
of
are
those things.
closing now because the VAT's too high.
Yeah.
Even top chefs who with Michelin stars are closing. That's quite sad.
Yeah, the rise in prices of everything's just gone up. People just can't, you know, afford to go out and enjoy food. Or
Minimum wage went up. VAT went up. Well, VAT hasn't stayed up. VAT stayed the same. Minimum wages went up. Income tax went up. National insurance went up. Everything went up.
Yeah.
We pay the highest tax here in all of Europe.
Yeah.
We only pay 10% in France.
Yeah.
9% is going into Ireland very soon. I think it's 9 or 8% in Holland. It's like, well, that's the reason why I don't have restaurants in the UK, because I can't afford it.
Yeah.
The minimum wages here are far more than they are in Africa, far more than they are in different parts of the world. So why? Why struggle in the grind here to basically just pay people's wages? I don't think that's right. I think if you're taking
right.
if you're taking all the risk, you're taking the financial burden, you're taking the lease out, you're employing people, you should have some sort of upside to that.
rather than it just going out as soon as
Whereas
it goes
you're
in.
not, there's no upside. So that's one of the main reasons why I won't open anywhere here.
No. So going through obviously all the parts you've went to when it came to like losing the restaurant and like going through the struggles, is that kind of what gave you the motivation to help others and obviously open up some charities for people?
Not really to help others. I think first and foremost you have to help yourself
Yeah.
before helping others. Because if you're in a position where you're helping others and not helping yourself, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
You have to first of all...
But you can't help anyone unless you help yourself
Yeah,
first.
you have to make sure that you're financially secure. You have to make sure that your children are secure. That's my priority. And then now, fortunately, with my products and my consultancy and my other media commitments, that I am in a position where I can help others. But a lot of people help me as well. You know, I have people who have far more knowledge of a certain type. You know, for instance, like the veg people who I use. You know, they have so much more knowledge of vegetables than me. So I love that element of learning.
Yeah.
I'll have a guy who knows a lot more about fish than me. I'll tap into his knowledge. I've got people who are younger than me who may understand TikTok and social media and how to do that with food.
Yeah.
And I'll tap into their knowledge. So I
That's
think
good business sense, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's always
I think-
good to like
Tap into
be
your
with people
strengths.
around you.
I think if you can surround yourself with strong people, surround yourself with people who know what they're talking about, and then who don't mind giving advice or passing on advice, swapping advice, asking for help. I don't think there's any problems in that. People are quite proud to ask
As long as they
people.
don't take advantage, I think helping other people and obviously them kind of supporting each other, I think that's the best way to go.
I'm pretty quick at cutting people out.
Yeah.
I've learned
That's
that
a good
over
way
the
to be,
years.
though, especially-
I've had people who have promised me the world, and then it's like, well, nothing's happened,
Yeah.
and they say, we'll do this, we'll do that. They just talk a lot of BS, and
yeah.
it's like, oh my goodness, okay. So I cut people out really quickly. I
Yeah.
cut my mum out. I cut a lot of people out very, very quickly.
I think
Yeah. I
think you have
people
to
like
be like
that's
that.
found quite quick easily as well. Like people see through people very easily these days.
I think that's half the problem with me, because I lived on the streets. I've seen really bad stuff. I've seen some really good stuff as well.
Yeah.
You know, John Bird, who's a good friend of mine, he founded the Big Issue magazine. In fact, we used to share an office together in Glasgow, and he used to say to me that people who can feel that seeing through them, you know, always feel a little bit embarrassed, and I can see through people really quickly, and then they scuttle away, or they don't engage, or they just don't mix anymore. They kind of disperse. Like the fake people, the people who talk nonsense and all them kind of people, I can see through it. I see through people straight away. That's, you know, I get invited to do tons of podcasts, I get tons of TV stuff, but if I don't have any sort of understanding on who I'm with and what I'm doing, I just won't do it.
It's good that you can do like your little bit of research and you can kind of like sense who that person is before you interact with them.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I'm doing stuff with probably one of the biggest magazines in the world. I can't say who it is until September, but you know, a lot of it is actually getting to know the people who you're working with. If I feel comfortable with the people I'm working with, everyone's going to do really well and the project's going to succeed. If you come in with someone who's got arrogance or a chip on the shoulder, or they think they know better, or they're maybe not as confident or a little bit timid, there's not going to be an equal balance of success. So for me, it's always been that way. I always surround myself with the best people I possibly can, uplift them as best as I can, let them succeed, because if they succeed, I succeed.
Yeah.
So
I'm not keen on those people who kind of come in thinking they're better than you because they're higher up. I feel like everyone's just human. We're just trying our best, and we're kind of like you said, helping with each other on the way, and kind of.
Well, when I go into the kitchens and I go and see the guys, obviously they're excited to see me because I don't see them too often. I don't let them call me chef. They just call me Jameson.
That's good.
I'm not too bothered about that. Even Gordon was the same. You know, no one called him chef in the kitchen. Everyone called him Gordon. So, I
feel like you feel more connected with people in that way.
I think you have to be, because if you're trying to inspire these guys, you know, if you're 16, 17-year-old, and I mean, when I was working with Marco to begin with, I was earning £600 a month. That was in 1999, 2000, and that didn't go an awful long way.
No.
By the time I got my travel card and paid the hostel up in Earl's Court, I had like literally £30 a week to live off.
You won't even have that these days on that much a month either. So looking back at everything you've achieved so far, what advice would you give to your younger self, and what do you want to have planned for the future? Is there anything coming up that you're excited
My younger
about?
self, maybe not burn as much bridges as I did when I was younger, because people attacked me, I'd attack them back.
Yeah.
People, you know, they always have a saying, you know, if you keep prodding a bear, the bear's going to bite back at one point. And I was quite quick to bite back. Now I'm older, a bit more wiser, seen the world, father now. You have to be a little bit more strategic, you know, a little bit more calm in the situation, because karma comes around to everyone anyway. So you have to just believe in the process.
Yeah.
And rather than trying to attack. I attacked too many people when I was younger, and they came back to bite me a little bit later on in life.
So you learned that lesson.
I learned that lesson, yeah, but I was never media trained.
Yeah.
I was never taught anything. I was never even taught how to shave. I was never taught to manage money. I was lived on the streets. You know, the Salvation Army used to give me clothes. I was never taught anything. So going into the limelight at 23, 24 and not media trained,
it's a big shock to the system.
it was just different. Yeah, it's different now because obviously I know what I'm doing, but it was very different then. And journalists were, at that particular point in time, journalists were out to make a name for themselves.
Yeah, they were very antagonistic, weren't they?
Yeah, they were out to make they could write lies, they could write, you know, this, that and the other. I mean, I read an article that I killed someone in a car crash.
Wow.
I was like, what? Nothing to do with me.
The thing is, though, people will believe that.
People will believe anything.
Yeah.
That's the problem. People even to this day believe nonsense.
Yeah, the best thing you can do is say silence, because if you're just going to fight that person who's kind of,
Yes.
you know, making up
Agreed.
these lies, you're both going to look silly. And the best thing you can do is just, you know, prove them wrong
I
in
think
silence.
I spent a lot of
in the
my
shadows.
life trying to defend myself.
Yeah.
I've learned that you just don't need to.
You don't need to.
You just don't have
People
to.
who know you know the truth anyway.
Well, and
Yeah.
like you said, people will find out what the other person's like karma will happen.
Karma will definitely
Yeah.
happen. I truly believe in that. It's happened to 2 or 3 people already. So, Yeah, and then going, what was the other question?
Is there anything excited that you're like anything in the future that you're working on that you're
Oh, there's
excited
tons
about?
of stuff.
You mentioned the magazine you're working with, but we can't say who.
Yeah, I can't say who
Stay
it is.
tuned,
but
follow Jameson.
September.
They have a subscription of over 60 million people a month, so people could probably take from that what it is, but it's massive. I am joining a partnership with a media company in London, doing podcasts, and also I'll be food editor of the magazine. That will be announced within weeks now.
So we'll keep an eye out on your page.
Contracts and stuff are signed. I am launching more products. We're doing a line with Debenhams and John Lewis and various different people, companies. I go on tour in September into Europe, which is really exciting.
Is that doing food shows?
Doing food show. I'm going on tour. I'm headlining a couple of shows in Europe.
Come to Southport, please. Come to Southport Flower Show.
Which is going to be amazing, which I'm really, really looking forward to. I am doing a lot of takeover restaurants, of one-star restaurants across the world, where I go in and call it four hands, where you go in with the chef owner of wherever it is and do half the menu with them and work together. I love doing stuff like that.
That's incredible, though.
Yeah, I love that. So I've got 4 or 5 of them up to the end of the year. Filming a couple of pilots at the moment. Podcasts, we're going to be doing some podcasting with various food reviewers in London and different takes from high-end restaurants to kind of street food restaurants to where's good to go, where's not good to go.
Something for everyone then.
Something for everyone. We're also going to take the point of view from children as well, because a lot of children kind of get dragged to restaurants.
They're so picky as well, so that's a good idea.
There's so much stuff. We get offered so many projects and so many things to do. I have such a big team around me now that we kind of pick things and dissect things, and is it worth it? Is it financially worth it? Do I want to put my name to a set of knives, or do I want to create my own knife range with one of the biggest leading companies in the world? You know, my pan range has been out for about 2 years now. We've sold millions of products with them. Now we're going to look to do a different pan range, and that kind of stuff excites me. And also food's changed quite a lot now as well, where, you know, I'm really into kind of growing my own vegetables. I'm growing, you know, I have a urban farmer in my house where I grow strawberries and gooseberries and salads and radicchios and all sorts of lettuces. And that excites me. And also I quite like the you know, the world's changing now in regards to food, that people are a little bit more conscious about what they're eating and where the foods come from, where the meats come from, where the fish come from. Is it sustainable? Is it full of pesticides? Is it, you know, people want to know these things, and that's what excites me most about going forward, because anyone can put good food on a plate, but understanding what goes together, understanding the seasons, understanding the whole philosophy of food. Not many people know that.
No, I do like the fact they have a lot more vegan options or vegetarian options, because I'm vegetarian.
Poor you.
But a lot of previously, like everywhere I went to, they just made it so spicy.
Because you're trying to mask what's in it.
Oh, I'm terrible with spice. But
Tofu.
no, I like the fact they're tamed on there, but I've obviously been making my own things now and kind of experimenting a little.
Well, that's what I love the most, because I work with, you know, innovative, you know, people who are making products for me. And, you know, we've learned over the last kind of 6 months from doing lots of investigation and what people want and what people actually, more people at home are actually baking than ever before. They're making their own breads because they trust what's going into the bread. They're making their own soups because they know what's going in the soup. They're making their own jams even now. I quite like that. I like the fact that people are making
that. A lot more people are keeping bees as well, which is so important.
Same. I'm keeping bees as well. I've actually just got.
We've got a wild garden.
Very good.
Yeah, I love sitting in my garden. My favourite places.
I think everyone could do that. We have, and the thing what annoys me the most is a lot of the. I go down to the markets and stuff, the Covent Garden market, which is one of the best in the world. It's unbelievable. And the guys there, they teach me so much stuff about new products and new things, what's coming out. They go to the Paris market and they bring the most amazing vegetables and stuff over, and plums and all sorts of amazing stuff. But we could grow that here quite comfortably. We could.
Yeah.
if people have gardens. If you don't have a garden, you can get a freehold. You haven't got a freehold, you can get some sort of shared allotment of some sort.
Yeah, I think you can rent them out now.
People can grow stuff. You can get
Grab
bees.
a window box if you live in a flat.
If people, these guys who are renting out allotments now, they're actually encouraging you to get bees. You know, get them. You know, get your own honey, pollinate your flowers. You know, vegetables. I grow my own courgettes. I love. You know,
Courgettes I've grown before. They're quite easy. I'm not the best at growing things, but
you need
I'd
to
love
use the
to be
flower
better.
as well. People
The
don't
flowers
use the
are
flower.
gorgeous. Yeah.
So we you know, for instance, you can put like mousse in them and steam them, and you can use the whole thing. I think because there was at one point too much cookery shows on TV. There's so many good cooks at home now. So because there's so many good cooks at home, people when they go out are wanting that X factor. They're wanting something which they can't
Something
do
like a
at home.
wow. Yeah, yeah, like with the presentation and
Rather than the same
presentation
microwavable
or
food.
eating something which they've never had before.
Yeah.
Or,
I like doing that when I go out to eat. I always like to try something new that I would never cook at home.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly the same with me, because I cook modern European food. You know, kind of, you know, scallops and sea bass and lobsters and stuff. Whenever I go out to a restaurant, I'll go to an Indian, because I don't cook Indian food. I'll go to a Chinese or a Thai or a barbecue. Restaurants are very popular now. I always go to something which I don't cook myself.
Yeah.
You know, I love. I do love Indian food. I've got to say, you know,
I do like.
I love tasting and learning different stuff from different places.
Yeah. Fabulous. Just to finish, what achievement are you personally most proud of?
The boys.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
The boys.
Hands
'cause
down.
they're so polite. They're not mugs. They understand there's people out to pull one over them, because you have to be quite socially aware these days. But you know, they're very kind, they're very polite, they're very respectful, and yeah, if they grow up and learn from me, I think they'll do all right.
I'm pretty sure they will. If anything, what you've told us and how they are, I feel like they'll become great adults. Very respectful, polite.
We'll see what happens. Life changes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Always can hope for the best.
We'll
So
see.
before we go, is there any last things that you want to give, any advice or tips to anyone who wants to become a chef, or is a single parent kind of wanting to get into something that they think they can't do?
I think from a single parent's point of view, there's so many businesses you can do from home now. You don't have to be food or anything, but particularly if you're wanting to do food, you know, even if do stuff like at the market once a week, or try and build something, because it's very easy to kind of get into that slump. Single parent, low income, becomes a cycle. You kind of budgeting your money throughout the month. When am I going to get this, or when can I get that? When can I afford to get nappies and clothes or powder, milk, or whatever? I was there myself. You know, you're budgeting and budgeting and budgeting. It gets to the end of the month, you've got literally nothing left. You have to get out of the cycle, and you have to kind of like, even if you make cookies or make lemonade or do something,
Just start.
go to the local market. Markets are £10 a day for a stall or something. It's nothing much. They'll give you everything. Sell it. Even if you make £100, you do it once a week, it's £400 more than you had. Or you do it twice a week, it's £800 more than you had, and then you build it up. Because even if you find an extra £200-300 a month, it's going to make a huge difference. And then you make a bit more and make a bit more, and then
go from there.
and then take it from there, because anyone can do it. I'm pretty sure that, you know, there used to be a program years ago where they used to take everyone's assets away from them, and they tried to make money from literally nothing. I think I could do that still now. That if it stripped me from everything, put me back on the streets. There's ways you can monetize things. There's it's not easy. You have to do it, but there is options out there, and you know, the hospitality industry is taking a bit of hitting at the moment, and the problem is as well in the industry, they're not finding people to employ because people just don't want to do it. People don't want to do it. People don't want the sacrifice of the hours and the kitchens, and you know, even dinner ladies. They're even struggling to find dinner ladies now in schools. That's why they're buying everything almost done.
Yeah.
It's sad, really, but
I feel like when there's a will, there's a way, though.
There has to be, because you only live once.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, you don't want to get to 60 years old and regret that you never did something. I had a period of my life where I was turning down so much stuff. I was worried that these options might not come back up again. And they didn't for a while. I'm thinking, oh my God, I should have done that. I should have done that. But then now when options come up, I am a little bit more cautious to what I do. But I think if you should just do it, and then even if you don't know how to do it, just learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Attitude.
As long as you start and you keep progressing forward and keep like pushing yourself, even if you feel like you're not going anywhere, I think it will all pay off in the end.
You have to keep faith, because it's very easy to go down that rabbit hole, and that's why I have to keep busy. If I'm not busy, I have too much time to think. I'm on my own when the boys are at school, and if I'm on my own, I'm thinking, I feel a bit sad here.
Yeah. No, I understand that completely.
I just like to keep going, and I look forward to. I'm doing something on Tuesday. I'm doing something on Wednesday. Then I've got a meeting with ITV on Tuesday afternoon. I've got a meeting with somebody else on such and such a day. I quite like the whole. Then I'm going over to see the guys in France. Then I'm going over to see the guys in Germany. And then go over to Milan. And then.
Yeah, it just keeps you in that success mindset, doesn't it?
I just really like that. I think it's important to look forward to things. Otherwise, we'll have nothing to look forward to.
No, exactly.
Yeah, fabulous. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Okay.